All right, everyone. The U.S. rail industry is having a real one this year. Buttigieg is doing so good a job running the trains, and Joe Biden, by extension, for choosing him. It's a little bit like Bush's FEMA director there before Katrina, and it's called carpetbagging. It's called I owe you a favor. Thanks for the endorsement. Here's a position that I don't think particularly important. Until things like this happen, and for political reasons alone, I think that Buttigieg really could end up skating at some point, depending on how much more this sort of thing gets news coverage. 60 tons of ammonium nitrate on a Dyno Noble freight car disappeared on the way from Wyoming to California, presumptively for agricultural purposes. Ammonium nitrate, that's what Timmy McVeigh used. And 30 tons is quite a lot of it. The person with a reasonable understanding of chemistry could probably get a couple of kilotons out of that much, actually, I think. I'm pretty sure that you could. If not, okay. Well, OK City would look small by comparison. That's more than you can fit in the back of a U-Haul truck, by the way. This article, by the way, linked in the description, has a hilarious typo and claims that 60,000 tons went missing. I don't think that there's a train car big enough for that much ammonium nitrate. That's why I'm using this one instead of one of the more accurately titled articles, because then I get a twofer. Look at the New York Post here, and their mass. It's 60,000 pounds. 60,000 tons would not fit in a rail car. I don't think it'd fit in the whole train. Is there a train that can actually haul that much material? Not 100% sure, to tell the truth. I know about as much about trains as Pete Buttigieg does. Here's the problem. They're looking into it, and they're hoping that it was just a leak. So you might end up finding the odd pellet of ammonium nitrate spanning all the way from Wyoming to California, where the final rail stop was. Of course, they found the car completely empty. They're thinking it might be a leak. I would think that that would require looking at the rail car to find out if there's a hole in the bottom of it. Apparently, it takes them several days to check the bottom of a rail car. I don't know exactly what their problem is. Why don't you dump a bucket of water in the rail car and see if it drips out? Well, that's a novel solution now, isn't it? I don't think that there's any reason that an empty rail car containing a marginal amount of what is effectively a chemical fertilizer, I don't think you're going to have a problem if you just dump a little water in it. I'll check it for you, dude. In the time that it takes me to fly out to California and get a garden hose and then come back, look, dude, it'll be quicker than your investigation. I suppose it's because the government is involved and they're very, very slow, because remember, they get paid whether they're doing their job or not. Long as you're on the clock, Joe, you just sit there and twiddle your thumbs. You're getting paid for it. School teachers that are no longer allowed to teach sit in the break room watching TV all day, and they still get their salaries. This is actually a thing in some states in the United States. Anyway, that's the hope. The hope is that this is not an act of either sabotage or theft. If it's theft, then whoever took it probably is not intending to use it for its intended purpose as a fertilizer on a cornfield. That's a lot of ammonium nitrate. And that would be pretty ballsy. Yeah, I realize that farmers often have to take out loans at the beginning of the year and hope that the notes get good because the weather doesn't fail or something like that, or locusts come. I realize that. I like to think that the average farmer doesn't punch a hole in the bottom of the rail car when it's sitting there and then slowly fill bags of fertilizer and have a conga line of people dragging it back to the farm or something. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, of course, considering the amount of ammonium nitrate that went missing, I would think that unless this was a very sophisticated operation by a terrorist group or someone who's just a goddamn genius and happens to own several dump trucks in order to haul it off and manage to get in and out and actually do the job, it probably is just a leak. So to be clear, what I'm hoping and what they're hoping, and trust me, what Biden and Buttigieg right now are hoping, is it was a leak. So little pellets of ammonium nitrate are sprinkled all across the entire rail line from Wyoming to California. Well, it's not a danger. It wouldn't be at a high enough concentration in any one area for anyone to go and start picking up the ammonium nitrate pellets and turn them into a bomb. Some eccentric gardener might hear the news, go out to the rail line, spend a couple hours filling a burlap sack, and say, hey, free fertilizer for my organic corn. Well, it's not going to be organic anymore. Well, at least it'll grow well. That's possible. There's a 90% chance it is a leak, to be clear. But there's always the chance that it wasn't. Stranger things have happened. We've seen a lot of crazy shit with the rail system, especially in transport in general, over this year. We have an incompetent transport secretary who started his job off by taking a while off to chest feed and shit like that with his I don't know which one's the one that calls himself husband and which one's the wife. I think Buttigieg is the husband in the relationship, and Chasten is I think, or do they just say co-husband? I'm not 100% sure. I mean, it used to be the one person in the gay relationship typically was husband and the other was wife. Now that's changed, though, because, gender doesn't exist anymore. So, I don't know. Maybe the kid's the husband in the relationship. I have no fucking clue anymore. A little bit of clown world experience. But the headline is a funny typo. And, again, it's not likely that this is terroristic sabotage. But the chance that it is measurable. And so people should probably be concerned, especially because it's taking them several days to determine what the fuck happened. Like, are we going to find out there was just a rusted out hole in the bottom? Okay, that's fine. Are we going to find out someone deliberately sabotaged it? Well, that's a lot of money that you just lost. Ammonium nitrate ain't cheap anymore. That would be problematic. Are we going to end up seeing a sabotaging of the rail car sort of spree? Are we going to end up with Antifa members putting spikes in the bottom of them or something like that and destroying the fertilizer? That could do a lot of damage to the agricultural industry with a very small number of people. Or are we going to find that a couple of Al-Qaeda members wandered in with a dump truck and they paid off the gate employer at the rail yard or whatever? They went in after hours through the fence and they spiked the rail car and then they started dragging it back or something. Again, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't think that the heist of 60 tons of material would be particularly easy. I would call it crazy, actually. But I've seen enough crazy things this year to not entirely write it off. I'll just hope and be the eternal optimist that I am that there's just a little extra nitrate along, 1,000-mile route of train or something like that, 1,500 miles. I'll just hope for that. That maybe the grass by the track will grow a little bit better, assuming that the weather is wet enough. That's about all. Peace out.